Last week, fast food workers across the country led a one-day strike to bring attention to low-wage workers who can't make a living on their current wages. In Chicago, 200 workers took to the streets. But this is only one part of a much larger debate, a debate in recent days about the growing economic disparities in the United States of America and the struggles of low-wage workers. In November, Pope Francis stated, quote, "While earnings of a minority are growing, so too is the gap separating the majority from the prosperity enjoyed by those happy few." Just last week, President Obama echoed those concerns in an address on income inequality. He spoke at the Center for American Progress, and he noted that more than half of all Americans at some point in their lives will experience poverty. The week before Thanksgiving, a Walmart in Ohio was running a food drive to help the hungry have a happy Thanksgiving. That kind of generosity and empathy is commendable. What was noteworthy, though, is that the food drive was specifically to support their associates, their own employees. It reminded me of an effort by McDonald's launched earlier this year to help their employees create a budget. According to that budget, the only way to make ends meet for someone making the minimum wage and working 40 hours at McDonald's was to take a second job. Washington Post's Wonk blog analyzed the chart and found that a worker making the minimum wage would have to work 75 hours a week to have the after-tax income that this company thought was basic to a family budget. 75 hours a week. Low wages aren't a problem just in the fast food industry, and I don't want to just pick on Walmart and McDonald's. It's catching up in many other traditional jobs that used to be able to support a family. There may be fewer better examples of this than in the banking sector. The banking industry in America last year posted $141.3 billion in profits. The median executive pay in the banking industry in America is $552,000 a year. And yet a recent report found that 39% of bank tellers in the state of New York are on public assistance. Low-wage work is just not enough to get by. Working 40 hours a week at $7.25 translates into $15,080 a year. That's about $400 less than the federal poverty level guidelines for a family of two. If you accept the sample budget that we've talked about, a worker making the minimum wage would have to work 75 hours a week to have the after-tax income necessary to make ends meet. Working 75 hours a week at a minimum wage with few or no vacation days and limited benefits, if any, you can make $24,720 a year after taxes. I want to say that it's not impossible to do that, but the reality is many people actually have to do it. How do you raise a family working 75 hours a week? Time to sit down with your kids and even read a book. Well, one way people get by is they're forced to turn to government assistance programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the SNAP program, historically known as food stamps, or the LIHEAP program, Low Income Heating and Energy Assistance Program, that helps to pay for heating and cooling bills. The Children's Health Insurance Program, the CHIP program, which provides health insurance for the children of the poorest families. The Emergency Food Assistance Program, TFAP. The Temporary Assistance to Needy Families Program, TANF. The Section 8 Housing Program, and yes, the Affordable Care Act, which is providing for the first time health insurance for some of the working poor who've never had insurance as a benefit any time in their lives. According to a recent study at the University of California at Berkeley, undertaken in partnership with the University of Illinois, 52% of families of fast food workers are on public assistance. 39% of the bank tellers in New York, 52% of the families of fast food workers are on public assistance. Subsidizing low-wage employment through these programs costs the federal government $3.9 billion annually. Think about what that means. It means that working families across America paying their taxes are not only sustaining this government, they are sustaining the low-wage workers in their communities who cannot survive without a helping hand from a government program that keeps food on the table or may provide health insurance. Instead of trying to find solutions to ensure full-time work so that it's adequate to support a family, many of my colleagues are now attacking these programs. The House Republicans opposed the Farm Bill primarily because they wanted to make deep cuts in the food stamp program. Deep cuts in the program for families that are barely getting by and feeding their children. That strikes me as just wrong. We are too good a nation. If we're going to have a political fight over saving money and cutting spending, for goodness sakes, let's not start first with the children, the elderly, the disabled, and the veterans who are receiving food stamps. That, to me, defines the politics and the values of some members of Congress.